Taurus, welcome to your astrology reading for the month of January. So happy New Year. Welcome to 2025. So before I jump into this is going to be most applicable for your rising sign, which is how other people perceive you. It's still applicable for your sun sign, which is how you express yourself, and then also your moon sign, which is how you process everything internally through that emotional lens. And so I am structuring this one a little bit different. So what I'm going to talk about are the different kind of weeks breaking out. And instead of just focusing on the major transits that are happening, I'm going to talk about some of they're major, but not as. So think of as like, they're minor, but they're also significant. They're going to have an influence on you in that time period. Usually those are more just in that day. So I'll just kind of jump into this here. So starting off with that first week, so Wednesday, January 1st to Saturday, January 4th, we have a few things happening. And the first one here is on the 2nd, so Thursday the 2nd, at 10:24 p.m. Eastern Time, we have Venus enter the sign of Pisces. And so Venus is all about what you love, what you value. It's harmony, it's balance, bringing things together. It's the ruler of your sign. And so that is sitting in your house of friendships. And so what do you love and value about your friends? What kind of goals and dreams do you have about those friendships, the connections with those people? Because it's going to easily blend here with the way that you feel about your career. So there's something happening here. You might be in a field that really entices people to create friendships, really establish those bonds with people. And so the way that you feel about your career or public reputation is going to easily blend with what you love and value about your friendships. So again, more of like that public reputation, the way that other people perceive you and the way that you interact with people. We'll also have Venus in Pisces square Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And so what this means for you is what you love and value about your friends. It's creating opportunities for the changes that are taking place inside of you right now. We're going to see that this does get better throughout the month. So it's more of focusing on your friendships, what you love, what you value about your friendships here at the beginning of the month. And then on Friday the 3rd at 2:21 in the morning Eastern Time, we'll have Mars retrograde in Leo opposite Pluto in Aquarius. And so Mars retrograde in Leo, this is sitting in your house of home. So there might be actions that you want to take, but you're internalizing them right now. There's things that you want to do. There's just, think bold and stepping out of your comfort zone here. But there's this kind of need to either focus on making changes to yourself, those bold dynamic changes, maybe the way that you perceive your home or that you perceive that home environment, or it's about suppressing them right now, not taking some sort of action here. And because that will be opposite to whatever changes are taking place at work. So it's more of, okay, this is going to show up a little bit throughout the month for you. So we've got this work-life balance that's taking place, and we've got this emphasis on your home environment, work environment. So when it comes to Friday the 3rd, it's more of which one is going to be the more dominant. Are you more focused on your work? Probably yes, if you're going to work that day, versus when you're at home, you're going to focus on home. And so that's the push-pull. You can certainly find a way to work with it. On Saturday the 4th at 5:35 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll have the Sun in Capricorn sextile Saturn in Pisces. And so when it comes to your growth and the way that you want to grow and expand who you are, it's creating an opportunity for you to really work on those friendships. And so what you're seeing here is a lot of really positive energy around your friendships, and that actually continues. The next week here will be from January 5th to the 11th. And so jumping into Monday the 6th at 5:44 a.m. Eastern Time, we'll have Mars retrograde enter the sign of Cancer. So because it is retrograde, it's going from Leo back into Cancer. And so where Leo is, let's do something, let's take some sort of action, Cancer is very much in your feelings. It's the most empathetic, I would say the deepest feeling sign in the zodiac. And so with Mars retrograde in Cancer, this is a lot of suppressing your feelings, just not ready to take any kind of action related to your feelings. It's sitting in your house of communication, so that you really are keeping things to yourself. There's things that you might be just understanding the impact of the way that you normally communicate, or if you had taken some sort of action, what was the impact there? The way that this is affecting you, suppressing your feelings, just not taking any kind of action as it relates to your feelings, easily blends with the way that you feel about yourself on the inside, because there is a trine to Moon in Aries. There's also a trine to Neptune in Pisces. And so when it comes to your friendships here, I was just getting something, but it's gone. Okay, so we'll just focus. Anyway, so with this Mars retrograde, it's going to trine Neptune in Pisces. We've seen already that you're focused on what you love and value about them, but like really, what are your goals when it comes to your friendships? What does your ideal group of friends look like? What kind of interactions do you have with those people? What kind of relationships do you have here? And then how does maybe not expressing your feelings right away, how does that help you? Is there some sort of reflection that's needed? Is there maybe a temporary pause before you actually say them out loud or take some sort of action as it relates to your feelings? Because what you're doing here is not acting impulsively when it comes to your friends. And that's helping to either establish or reestablish a connection there with those people. And then we have Mars retrograde in Cancer opposite Pluto in Aquarius. And so we saw this when Mars was in Leo. It didn't go that far, so we're seeing it again here with this Pluto in Aquarius. So these changes that are happening at work, they're just going to be opposite suppressing your feelings or keeping something here to yourself. So there might be changes that are happening in your work environment that require you to speak out. That would be kind of an opposition energy where you do need to stand up for yourself, or you do need to voice how you feel about something, whereas right now you're just not in that space of being able to do that. It's more of suppressing that energy. And so that's the opposition. You can certainly find a way to work with it. Also on the same day, so still Monday the 6th at 8:55 in the morning Eastern time, we'll have Mercury in Sagittarius square Neptune in Pisces. And so for you, Mercury in Sagittarius is sitting in your 8th house. It's a transformational house. And so any kind of conversations that are taking place here might relate to death and rebirth, releasing things that don't work for you. This could be connected to the money that you earn, the debt that you pay, spouse's income, inheritance, anything here that would be money outside of you, or any kind of transformation that's happening here, power and control issues that relate to money. And so Mercury in Sagittarius is actually a really positive energy. And so these would be positive, kind of transformational type of conversations. They're going to create obstacles and challenges to you focusing on your ideal relationships here, but it's more of things here need to change, and I'm really optimistic about what's changing, instead of let me focus on this kind of vision I have for my friendships. You can certainly find a way to work with the energy if you want to. It just requires more effort. And then on Wednesday the 8th at 5:30 in the morning Eastern time, we'll have Mercury enter the sign of Capricorn. And so when Mercury enters the sign of Capricorn here, this is in your 9th house. This is growth and expansion. So what kind of goals have you set for yourself? What kind of plans do you want to put into place as it relates to your goals, your strategies? This would be any kind of growth conversation. That's easily going to flow with how you feel about yourself. It's going to create an opportunity for you to really focus on what you love and value about your friends here. Now, it is going to create obstacles and challenges when you think about those ideal relationships, but it's more of the emphasis right now is on you and your growth as opposed to doing anything related to your friends. Now, I say that, but you do have an opportunity to focus on what you love and value, but maybe not modify your dreams in some sort of way. And then the same day, just later in the day, so on Wednesday the 8th at 8:53 p.m. Eastern time, we'll have the Sun in Capricorn square Chiron in Aries. And so what this means here is the way that you're expressing yourself, because we just had Mercury enter Capricorn, we've got the Sun in Capricorn. And so when it comes to the way that you're expressing yourself, you might be really putting out long-term plans, long-term strategies. This is what I need to do. This is how I'm going to get to where I need to be. That is going to create obstacles and challenges to that wound that has been coming to the surface. This is an internal wound, an insecurity that you're having here. And it's more of, you can find a way to work with the energy. It's not as difficult as a push-pull. This one is a square, so it's just obstacles and challenges that you can work through. And it's not like a technical kind of astrology reading, but I did want to highlight here. So on Saturday the 11th, we officially start the Pisces Virgo eclipse cycle. So just stay tuned for that, because we've already had a taste of it and then we're kind of in it now. So just, you've been warned. It's a positive one, I think. But anyway, so getting into the next week here. So this would be from Sunday the 12th through Saturday the 18th. So on Sunday, January 12th at 4:15 in the afternoon Eastern Time, we'll have Mars retrograde in Cancer, trine Neptune in Pisces. And so when you think about keeping your feelings to yourself, suppressing your feelings in some sort of way, that is actually helping you kind of focus on the goals and the dreams that you have for your friendships. And so again, thinking back to what kind of relationship do you want with those people and the collective. And so this is really going to help you focus there. And then on Monday the 13th at 3:13 in the morning Eastern Time, we'll have the Sun in Capricorn trine Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And so when you think about your growth and expansion and these goals that you've set for yourself, that's easily going to flow with whatever changes are happening to you right now. So these would be internal changes with that Uranus retrograde. And so really positive here. There's a lot of growth and expansion taking place. Also on the 13th, so Monday the 13th at 5:27 p.m. Eastern Time, we do have the full moon in the sign of Cancer. This one here, so we've got the sun and the moon at opposite points. The sun in Capricorn for you is all about your growth and expansion. We've got the moon in Cancer, which is all about your communication. Could be short distance travel versus long distance travel. So there's a lot of kind of push-pull taking place here. Another thing to note is that with the sun in Capricorn, this might be the way that you're expressing yourself, might be more action oriented. Capricorn is the father type of energy, whereas Cancer is the mother type of energy. And so this is impacting your feelings and your communication around feelings. And so you can kind of see where you're really focused on taking a stand, going after growth versus this internal, how do I feel about something here? And because we have the sun and moon in opposition, and the moon's in the sign of Cancer, we also have Mars retrograde in the sign of Cancer. So the sun is going to be opposite that energy when it comes to any kind of ambitious self-expression, goal-oriented, really focused on that future. That's going to be opposite keeping your feelings to yourself or not taking any kind of action as it relates to your feelings. But because the moon is in Cancer and Mars retrograde is in Cancer, those two align. So the way that you feel about your communication, keeping something to yourself, that fully aligns. It's more of kind of trusting your instincts on that, what you need to keep to yourself when, kind of right time, right place, right words. We will have the sun in Capricorn trine Uranus retrograde in Taurus, where the moon will sextile. So both positive aspects here. So when it comes to these internal changes that are happening, the way that you're expressing yourself with that sun in Capricorn energy creates, well, actually easily flows with whatever those changes are. The way that you feel about the way that you're communicating, that creates an opportunity for even more changes to take place for you internally. So all really positive from that perspective. And then we have the sun sextile Neptune in Pisces. And so this means that the way that you're expressing yourself, these growth conversations that you're having, very goal-oriented, it's creating an opportunity for you to really focus on those friendships. What are your ideal friendships? When you think about your growth and expansion, how do your friends play into this? How does that all tie in together? How can you kind of evolve everything at the same time? Because that is a conjunction. That's an easy blend of energy. It's not. It's creating an opportunity. The moon is the conjunction here. Sorry, got that one wrong. So with the moon in Cancer conjunct Neptune in Pisces, the way that you feel about your communication, that easily blends. And so really kind of taking that step back, because you are keeping some of your feelings to yourself. We saw that with the Mars retrograde. But what you are expressing and how you feel about what you're expressing here, it is helping you with your friendships. It's helping you gain that clarity that you need as it relates to those goals, or maybe set kind of what do those ideal relationships looks like. It may be giving you an opportunity to come up with what those relationships should be. And then we have the sun in Capricorn conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. And so this one here is all about that growth, that expansion, those long-term goals here. And that is going to easily blend with whatever changes are happening in your work environment. So you can see how those two really play really nicely together. So whatever you're doing, it's impacting your friends, it's impacting your work. We saw earlier in the month there might be a connection between those two. And so there might be things happening here that really relate to your public reputation, relate to the way that people see you in general, whether it's in your work environment or whether it's with your friends. The moon in Cancer will be opposite that Pluto in Aquarius, and so it's the way that you feel on the inside is going to be very different than the way that you're perceived on the outside. And that's just, it's one or the other. That's the opposition energy. So the changes that are taking place in your career are just very different than how you feel on the inside. And then we have all, again, during this full moon in Cancer, we'll have the sun and moon both in a T-square to Chiron in Aries. So when it comes to the way that you're expressing yourself, that ambitious, goal-oriented type of discussion, and the way that you feel about what you're communicating here, they both create obstacles and challenges to healing that wound inside of you that's been kind of made itself known throughout 2024. So it's just a difficult energy that you can work with. You just have to find a way to work with it. And then we'll also have the moon in Cancer trine Saturn in Pisces. And so when it comes to your friendships here, the way that you feel about your friends, the way that you understand those relationships, all easily flows here. It's a lot of energy for Monday. And so on Tuesday the 14th at 2:47 in the afternoon Eastern time, we'll have Venus in Pisces square Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. And so Venus in Pisces, again, it's about what you love and value about your friends. That is going to create obstacles and challenges to whatever growth that you're looking for in your personal finances. This just means maybe you're spending more time and money with your friends, and that would be that square energy. It's a little bit more difficult to work with because you just have to put in some effort, but it is possible. And then on Wednesday the 15th at 9:38 p.m. Eastern time, we'll have the sun in Capricorn opposite Mars retrograde in Cancer. And so with this sun, so we kind of got some of this during the full moon in Cancer. It's coming up again here. And so this kind of, the way that you're expressing yourself, this kind of growth-oriented self-expression, goal-oriented, really future, thinking of the future here, it's going to be opposite keeping your feelings to yourself. And it's more of, you want to express it. You want to express where you're going and what you're thinking and what you're feeling. And so that would be opposite. You can find a way to work with that. The sun in Capricorn sextile Neptune in Pisces. So that one is going to happen on Friday the 17th at 6:19 in the morning. And so what's going to happen here is, again, the way that you're expressing yourself, this very goal-oriented, future-oriented growth mindset, it's going to create an opportunity for you to really focus on, what do you want your friends to be? Like, how do you want those relationships to be? How do you want to interact with those people? And then on Saturday the 18th at 8:26 p.m. Eastern time, we'll have Venus in Pisces conjunct Saturn in Pisces. And so I love this. This is all about what you love about your friends, really working on those friendships. You've been doing a lot of thinking kind of up until now around those friends. What kind of relationship do you want with those people? And now you're being given an opportunity here on the 18th to really focus on that. This is an easy flowing energy. It's going to be no trouble at all for you to really focus on what you value and work on that. And then the week of January 19th to the 25th. So we have a lot of energy happening here as well. On Sunday the 19th at 2:37 in the morning Eastern time, we'll have Mercury sextile Saturn. And so these kind of growth conversations that you're having, the way that you're expressing yourself, it's creating an opportunity for you to work on those friendships. Also on the 19th, we'll have Mercury in Capricorn sextile Venus in Pisces. That one's a little bit later in the day, but I mean, the energy kind of ebbs and flows. So you can kind of think of it all happening at the same time, where you're working on those friendships and what you love and value about those friendships. So your growth conversations, the way that you're thinking about everything, just gives you an opportunity to really work on those friendships. And then also on Sunday the 19th, this one is at 3 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time, we'll have the sun enter the sign of Aquarius. And so the sun in Aquarius, I mean, this is all about liberating things. Aquarius is out of the box thinking. It is innovative, definitely technology driven. And so with the sun in Aquarius sitting in your career, you might be doing something related to technology or innovation related to technology, whether you're using it as a mode of self-expression, so finding new ways to maybe conduct meetings or get your work done with other people. There's things where you're liberating, so you're breaking old paradigms here. You have been. And with this, I'm just trying to think of more examples, because it feels like with the sun in Aquarius sitting in your career sector, there's so much opportunity for advancement, and it would kind of be almost like quick advancement. You've put all the work and effort in with that sun in Capricorn, and now it's about reaping the rewards. It's about maybe out of the box thinking or finding new ways to solve problems at work, because you've got this innovative way of thinking. Is something out of the box here. That is going to conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. So when the sun enters Aquarius, Pluto's right there. And so this would allow for changes to take place in your work environment. So all this liberation, all this change, really, really positive energy. And that is going to easily blend with whatever changes are happening internally to you. It's also going to easily flow with the way that you feel about the way that your life is going. So there's this sun in Aquarius will trine the moon in Libra, and that moon in Libra is sitting in your 6th house of daily routines. And so when you think about your career and maybe changes that are taking place, liberation, kind of breaking free of something, finding new ways to solve issues there, it's going to fully line up with the way that you feel about your life. And so really positive there. It's also going to create an opportunity for you to focus on your goals with your friends. Like, again, what do you think about those relationships? How do you want to interact with all of those people? The only challenging aspect here would be the sun opposite Mars retrograde in Cancer. And so when you think about the way that you're expressing yourself at work, this liberating self-expression, that would be opposite keeping your feelings to yourself or not acting on how you feel about a situation here. You can certainly find a way to work with this energy. Maybe it's suppressing some but not all, finding a more tactful way to approach it, since we're talking about your work environment. So there's ways to handle it. And then on Tuesday, the 21st, we have a couple of things happening here. So we have Mercury in Capricorn square Chiron in Aries. So that one happens at 3:06 in the morning Eastern time. And so when it comes to these kind of growth conversations that you're having, that's going to create obstacles and challenges to addressing that wound that is inside of you. Also on the 21st at 7:28 in the morning Eastern time, we'll have the sun in Aquarius conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. And so this is more about, we saw it, the energy gets highlighted again here on Tuesday the 21st. And so very much into liberating self-expression in your work environment, maybe related to your public reputation, any kind of changes that are happening here, maybe sparking some sort of change to take place here, really breaking down old systems, old paradigms, and leaning into liberation, innovation, technology, all of it. So I love that, especially because Aquarius does rule artificial intelligence, and this is showing up in your career sector. That might be something that's highlighted for you at this time. And then on Thursday, the 23rd, we'll have a couple things happening here as well. So at 10:07 in the morning Eastern time, we'll have Mars retrograde in Cancer, sextile Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And so what this means, because these are both retrograde planets, keeping your feelings to yourself creates an opportunity for more changes to take place within you. And so there's something that you're learning while you're in this period of suppressing your emotions or not acting on your feelings right away, or maybe at all. It's allowing things to modify and morph within inside you. And then at 3:48 in the afternoon Eastern time on Thursday, the 23rd, we'll have Mercury in Capricorn opposite Mars retrograde in Cancer. And so again, when you think about these growth conversations, that would be opposite keeping your feelings to yourself. You can kind of see why. One is let's communicate, the other one is let's keep it to ourselves. You can certainly find a way to balance that energy out. And then also on Thursday, the 23rd at 5:07 p.m. Eastern time, we'll have Mercury in Capricorn trine Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And so these kind of growth-oriented, goal-oriented conversations, that's easily going to flow with whatever changes are taking place within you. And then on Saturday, the 25th at 6:53 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll have Venus in Pisces trine Mars retrograde in Cancer. And so we're talking about Mars retrograde and we're talking about Venus. These two are in a positive aspect here. And so when it comes to what you love and value about your friendships, that's going to easily blend with keeping your feelings to yourself or not acting on your feelings, not that impulsive type of action here, because Mars does like to tear things apart. So I like this Mars retrograde and the way that it's impacting you as it relates to your friends. And then getting into the last week of the month here, so from Sunday the 26th to Friday the 31st, we have some pretty major things happening here to kind of close out the month. On Sunday the 26th, we'll have Mercury in Capricorn sextile Neptune in Pisces. And so these growth conversations that you're having, they're creating an opportunity for you to really focus on those friendships, figure out exactly what kind of relationship you want to have with those people. It's also going to allow you to focus on what you love about your friends. That creates an opportunity for you. Well, you're not making the changes. The changes are going to happen within you when you focus on your friends and that kind of ideal relationship that you have with those people. That creates an opportunity for more changes to take place within you. And then on Monday the 27th at 9:53 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll have Mercury enter the sign of Aquarius. This one here, you want to talk about liberation. Mercury is the planet of communication. We've got Aquarius that is all about liberation and innovation and thinking outside the box here. And so it's not just the way that you're talking to people, it's the way that you're thinking about things that are going to be dramatically different. It's all sitting in your career. This Mercury, when it enters into Aquarius, will conjunct the Sun in Aquarius. It will conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. And so a lot is happening from a work environment. Changes are taking place. The way that you're communicating and expressing yourself, the way that you're understanding all of these things. Again, you might be having these kind of sudden realizations on what you need to do to solve a problem or go in a specific direction here. Mercury in Aquarius will conjunct the moon in Capricorn. And so when you think about how you feel about your growth and what you're trying to accomplish there, easily blends with whatever conversations you're having at work, these liberating, innovative type of conversations. And then Mercury in Aquarius will sextile both Venus and Neptune in the sign of Pisces. And so when you think about these liberating conversations that you're having at work, innovation, thinking outside the box, that's creating an opportunity for you to really focus on those friendships, what you love and value about those friendships, what kind of connection do you want to have with those people. Love to see it. It is an opportunity. You are going to have to seize it, but it's right there in front of you. And just like we've seen a couple times already, we've got Mercury in Aquarius opposite Mars retrograde in Cancer. And so what this means is you're communicating in your work environment, and this seems to be the focus right now, as opposed to keeping your feelings to yourself. That's the opposition that's taking place. And then on the 29th, we have the new moon in the sign of Aquarius. And so love this energy because you've got the sun and the moon at the same degree point in the sky. So a lot of self-expression that's liberating. Feel really feel good about the changes that are taking place here. But it's not just that. The sun, moon, Mercury, and Pluto are all in a conjunction in the sign of Aquarius, impacting your house of career. So I mean, talk about innovation and change. So Pluto, planet of change, lots of things are changing here. Mercury, the way that you're thinking is changing, the way that you're operating is changing, expressing yourself, thinking things through, the way that you feel about all of this, all easily aligns. Very easy blend of energy here. And this new moon in Aquarius will also trine Jupiter retrograde in Gemini, which means if you've been thinking about growing your finances here, because that's what the Jupiter retrograde is all about for you, then whatever conversations you're having at work, the way that you're expressing yourself, the way that you feel about all these changes that are taking place, easily blends with making internal changes to the way that you save money, spend money, grow money here. So I like that one. And then also on Wednesday, the 29th, because, you know, that wasn't enough energy, we do have the more exact pairing of Mercury conjunct Pluto. And so again, when it comes to the conversations that are taking place at work, there's a lot of transformation that's being highlighted during this new moon. So really lean into that death and rebirth. What needs to change? What needs to go? That's part of that liberating energy. Let's get rid of all of these old structures that just don't work anymore, or old ways of thinking and behaving that just don't work anymore. So really emphasizing that on the 29th. And then on Thursday, the 30th at 11:22 in the morning Eastern time, we'll have Uranus stationed direct in Taurus. And so it's been sitting in your sign. It's still sitting in your sign. So Uranus is one of those transformational planets. When it was retrograde, it was impacting you internally. So all these changes that were taking place were happening within you, the way that you saw situations, the way that you acted and behaved. But now it's all going to be outward again. So these would be changes as they relate to the way people see you. Could be changes to your physical body. That's the Uranus stationing direct in your first house. And what that's doing is it's creating an opportunity for you to maybe keep feelings to yourself. Maybe these are the changes that have been taking place. This is what you've been learning about yourself. Because I was getting a lot of that kind of morph and modify you on the inside, and now you're being able to show it on the outside. People are going to recognize it because it's going to be the persona that they see that allows you to maybe take that step back and wait before you take any kind of action on your feelings or express the way that you feel here. When Uranus stations direct, it also creates an opportunity for you to really focus on your friends, what you love about your friends, working on those relationships, really getting them to where you want them to be. And so again, when you think about the way people perceive you, this has a direct impact on the way people perceive you, the way you interact with your friends. And so that one's, I mean, they both are giving you an opportunity. You would have to take advantage of the opportunity, but it's right there in front of you. The only challenge here would be Uranus square the moon. I wouldn't say that this one is that big of a deal, to be honest, because the moon moves very fast. And so when you think about the changes that are happening to you on a personal level, your physical body, the way that people are perceiving you, it's creating obstacles and challenges to the way that you feel about changes that are happening at work, the way that you feel about your work. But it's more of, it's one or the other. You're really focused on yourself at the moment. You're not focused on the things happening at work. And then on the 30th, same day, so just later in the day at 5:58 p.m. Eastern time, so Thursday, we'll have the Sun in Aquarius trine Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. And so when it comes to the way that you're expressing yourself at work, out of the box thinking, all of these things, it's going to easily blend again with growing your personal finances. So that one, I like how that keeps kind of coming up for you, just because you're putting a lot of effort and energy into what do I need to grow my finances? How do I save more money or invest more in something specific here? It's allowing you this opportunity, this innovation, and kind of out of the box thinking that's taking place in your work environment could be giving you ideas on what you need to do to grow and expand your personal finances. So I like how that's playing out for you. So Taurus, this is your reading. I hope it resonates. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.